Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about how to be a better subject and how to engage with hypnosis in a better way that will allow you more fun experiences. Learning hypnosis is not something that you do linearly. You kind of pick things from everywhere, from the subject side, from the hypnotist side, and you kind of pin that on understanding that you already have. And so learning a little bit about how subjects can improve their side of things is also a really good thing for you as a hypnotist. So stick around. The first thing I would like for you to consider as a hypnotic subject is what motivates you to be hypnotized. Truly, what motivates you to be hypnotized? If your motivation is, I want to one-up that hypnotist because I am cooler than them or something like that, that's probably not good hypnotic motivation, right? If I want to prove to someone that I can't be hypnotized, also not good hypnotic motivation. Good hypnotic motivation would be you being very certain about what you are looking for from a hypnotic experience. And what you're looking for, perhaps it's just a relaxing time. Perhaps you need a time where your thoughts are distant from reality. Perhaps you're looking to live some form of kinky fantasy, and that can be very motivating, truly. And it's also something that can be very motivating for a counterpart, a hypnotist in this case. Because if you share an idea that you want to experiment with, it doesn't have to be a kinky one, but just a fun one, a party trick or something like that. If you share the idea that you think this will be fun with your hypnotist, that is good motivation. It's good motivation from both sides. Truly think about what you want from a hypnosis session. Do you want the intimacy? Do you want the relaxation? Do you want these things? Think about what motivates you to be on the receiving end of hypnosis and make sure that it's something that can be met in a healthy way. I like to convey that an idea is not an imposition. It is not a problem. An idea is a gift. If you, as the subject, can give me, as the hypnotist, an idea for something amazing that we can do together, that you rank really high on my list of favorite subjects if you do that. Truly having an idea and also the motivation, understanding at least of your own motivation for being hypnotized can help so much when you start to create this collaborative space. All too often, hypnotists are viewed as the ones that are bestowing hypnosis on you, bestowing trance on you. They're doing the thing. But truly, it's much more healthy to think about it as a world-building exercise. You are both putting ideas on the table of engagements, and you figure out what motivates both of you, what motivates you to create this shared experience. Engaging with a hypnotist's ideas as a subject can sometimes be a little bit daunting because, especially if you have the notion of, the hypnotist is supposed to bestow trance and bestow hypnosis, bestow experience on me, then it can be a bit intimidating, and it can be intimidating trying to find out what you have to say and what you have to communicate. But being open about that and being open about what you actually want, it might be a little bit vulnerable to start off with, but it's something that will help you communicate and create that shared context that is so important in both communication and hypnosis. It really is. Engaging with the hypnotist's idea then. If, for example, I were to give you the idea that we are in zero gravity, we're in space, not in Japan, we're in space. Perhaps you can engage with this idea by just imagining in your mind immediately what would it be like to be weightless, I didn't have to explicitly tell you that, but you could have the association of, like being in space, 0G, having this, truly then feeling, oh, how does my arm feel? Like, not necessarily that you need to actively try, but just like engage with the idea of what it would be like to be floating in space. and be prepared for the consequences of doing that. Because you self-suggesting things is incredibly powerful in hypnosis. And for me as a hypnotist, if I notice that you suddenly are like a little floaty and you're engaging with this as if we are actually floating around in a space station in 0G, then of course I'm going to be like, yes, this is perfect. This is awesome. It really comes down to you as the hypnotist trusting your subject, and you as just a subject in this case trust your hypnotist that they will accept the things that you add to the experience, that you experience, that they can work with them. When you experience hypnosis, you don't magically become blank and mindless. Unless that is the focus of your hypnosis session, then maybe you will become blank and mindless. But usually that is not a prerequisite. And you, as a subject, have agency. Agency is a very fancy word that means you have the power and capability to act and change things. It might be counter to the whole hypnotist bestows hypnosis on you, but it's really important to know that you have agency to change and add things, and the hypnotist should trust you to do that in a healthy way. And you should trust your hypnotists to be able to adapt to that. Give them a chance. I promise they'll like it. I like it. So, for example, we'll do the classic candy thing. We're going to give our subjects a little candy. And I might say, I'm going to give you a piece of your favorite candy. Suddenly, you have to fill in the blank. What is your favorite candy? Usually it doesn't matter. You might be like, oh, that's a great taste. It's so sweet. It's nice. You've filled in a blank for me. Thank you for doing that. If a hypnotist, however, says, here's a piece of cucumber as a treat, and you're like, I don't like cucumber. Cucumber is not good. Don't let that bum you out. Just change the taste. You have the power. And the more you train just being like, oh, slight little change to the plan. Actually, it was my favorite type of chocolate. It's so good. It's so good. That's the treat that makes me happy. Allow yourself this. Allow yourself the agency to just change little things. And you also, because you're not a blank mind, you engage, you can actually speak in hypnosis. I know it's a shocker. You can speak. You can train yourself to speak in hypnosis. If you don't find it enjoyable to speak in hypnosis, wait until after the session, but do inform your hypnotist. Do inform your hypnotist that you changed something. If we take a little more serious example, maybe you are afraid of water, right? Classic thing that a lot of people are afraid of, and you forgot to tell your hypnotist that you don't like water. You should tell them, by the way, before you start. It's a good thing to tell them. When the hypnotist starts going on about the beach, you can just be like, I'm not going to imagine a beach. I am going to imagine a campfire in a calm forest. You can do that. Some people might not like to deviate from what their hypnotist is saying, but don't let them deviate too far. Do speak up, especially if it's something that is difficult or traumatic to you. Do speak up. Tell them in the moment. Be like, sleepiest voice you can. Actually, I don't like water. I'm in a forest right now. And they're going to be like, oh, we're in a forest. Cool. Awesome. I'll just roll with that then. That is really important. And do listen to me as a hypnotist as well. If your subject tells you something or does something or engages with your idea and, beyond what you've already told them, it's a gift to you. And for you as the subject to give a gift to a hypnotist is, yes, more. Give me gifts. I like gifts. I like when you engage with my ideas beyond my initial idea. We have created something truly together when we do that. Sorry if this rant went on a little long, but you have agency. And this agency also can break you out, of course, of a hypnotic trance if you need to. If you feel like this is no longer something that we can continue doing because it's a traumatic thing, you're not going to stay in trance. Just like if a fire alarm goes off, you're not going to stay in this hypnotic little context or bubble or whatever you've built. You're going to move on and reality will impose itself on you again. The current moment in hypnosis is everything, really. The current moment that you're experiencing as a subject is incredibly important. If you're feeling like you're self-analyzing overly much and kind of not going with the flow, Perhaps there's something about the engagement that is missing. Perhaps it wasn't interesting enough to you, the path that you took. And if your brain is thinking about a different path, or perhaps building something new that is relating to what the hypnotist is saying, inform them. Tell them. Again, it's really, really important. The agency of doing that can turn a mid-session into an amazing session in a single turn. Absolutely. What I also mean with the moment is everything. It's also quite literal. Your conscious experience of a hypnosis session is going to be a little bit flawed. Certain things are going to stick with you, and other things are just going to vanish. Only perhaps afterwards that your hypnotist brings up things and connects the threads again, you might piece together what it was, but truly being in that experience, that is the core. Like how you feel in that experience and how you enjoy that moment is the most important. All of the self-analysis, all of the analyzing the hypnotist's technique or whatever that you might do if you're a switch in hypnosis, if you do both hypnotizing and being hypnotized, you can do that afterwards. You don't have to do it in the middle of it. Like truly give yourself up to the experience that you're having. And this is something that I tell hypnotists as well. You have to give yourself up to the experience that you're having right now. Like, if you as a hypnotist don't believe in the world that you're creating with your subjects, they're gonna know, and they're also not gonna believe it. You as the hypnotist, because I know there are gonna be hypnotists watching this, you as the hypnotist have to engage in your fictive reality, if you will, as much as the subject does. This idea of engagement truly has to come from both sides. Like the hypnotist has to engage with this as if it is real, and the subject has to engage with this as if it is real. Well, or a real fantasy. It doesn't matter, but truly give yourself to the moment experience and you'll have such a good time. You absolutely will. Yeah, and if it helps for you to think about it as some kind of LARPing, do it. Why not? It might be a little campy, it might be a little nerdy at first, but when you reach the level of immersion that is often created in hypnosis, combined with actually having engaged with the thing you're creating on both sides, you will have an amazing experience. Just let your imagination go wild. That's something that we're incredibly good at. Let your imagination go wild with the concepts. I really hope that this was an enjoyable experience and that you engaged with some of the ideas that I've given you, either if you're a hypnotist or if you're a subject. And if you feel like engaging a little more, hit the thumbs up button. It makes me happy. Bye.